For most people, memory loss feels like an unavoidable part of getting older. It starts quietly, almost invisibly, with a forgotten name, misplaced glasses, or a moment of confusion that quickly passes but leaves behind a faint unease. Over time, these small lapses become more frequent, more noticeable, and harder to dismiss. Many begin to accept it as an irreversible truth of aging, believing that the brain, like the body, must simply slow down with time. But behind this slow fading of mental clarity lies a deeper, preventable cause that few are ever told about. Scientists have uncovered a connection between modern eating habits and the gradual starvation of brain cells, showing that memory loss is not always a symptom of aging, but a sign of nutritional deficiency. The brain, one of the hungriest organs in the body, depends on a steady flow of T compounds, antioxidants, fatty acids, and vitamins to repair and renew itself. When deprived, its connections weaken, signals falter, and the sharpness that once defined the mind begins to blur. Yet nature holds powerful tools for restoration, and they are far simpler than most imagine. Hidden in everyday foods are molecules that stimulate the brain's repair systems, reverse oxidative stress, and rebuild the very networks that support memory. These are not synthetic drugs or miracle pills, but natural elements found in the simplest of ingredients that have been consumed for centuries and quietly sustain mental vitality. What seems like decline can, in fact, be reversed. What appears lost can be recovered. The brain has a remarkable ability to heal, to regenerate, and to renew if given the right support. And the secret to unlocking that renewal begins not in a laboratory or pharmacy, but in the kitchen, with 3 humble foods that have been scientifically proven to awaken memory, protect neurons, and restore focus at any age. For those who believe it's too late to think clearly again, these discoveries offer a powerful reminder. The aging brain is not dying. It's waiting to be nourished back to life. It begins subtly, with moments that feel harmless at first. A person walks into a room and forgets why. A familiar word lingers on the tip of the tongue but refuses to come. A conversation from the previous day fades into a blur. For many over 60, these moments spark an uneasy thought that something inside their mind is changing. At first, they dismiss it as tiredness or distraction, but the pattern grows. The confidence once felt in recalling names, dates, or details begins to fade. Lists become necessary, reminders multiply, and frustration builds as once effortless mental tasks turn into quiet struggles. This slow erosion of memory doesn't just affect recall, it touches identity. People begin to question themselves, fearing that the sharpness that defined who they were is slipping away. They look at their loved ones and wonder if one day they might forget the moments that matter most. The fear deepens because society offers a grim narrative. Memory loss is portrayed as inevitable, a shadow that looms over aging, one that cannot be escaped or reversed. That belief breeds helplessness. Many stop trying, assuming decline is their fate. Yet beneath that fear lies misunderstanding. The brain, though delicate, is not designed to deteriorate so easily. The true cause of cognitive decline often lies not in age itself, but in years of silent nutritional neglect, inflammation, and poor circulation that starve brain cells of oxygen and energy. Without proper nourishment, neural pathways weaken and misfire, leaving people feeling trapped inside their own fading clarity. The tragedy is not just in forgetting, but in believing there is nothing that can be done. That fear of permanent loss, of losing control over one's mind, becomes heavier than the symptoms themselves. But the truth is different. Deep within the brain's complex network lies an innate ability to heal, to regenerate, and to restore lost connections. It only needs the right support. Yet most never learn this, continuing to live in quiet anxiety, unaware that simple, natural steps could reignite the very spark of memory they thought was gone forever. When memory begins to slip, most people react in ways that only deepen the problem. They often search for quick fixes, chasing promises from pills or supplements that claim to restore focus overnight. They believe that a single tablet or trendy vitamin can undo years of neglect. But the brain does not work that way. Its strength comes from consistent nourishment, circulation, and stimulation, not from shortcuts. Others make the mistake of relying too heavily on caffeine, thinking that more coffee or energy drinks will bring alertness and clarity. Instead, this constant stimulation drains the adrenal system and disrupts sleep, a process essential for memory consolidation. Sleep itself becomes another trap. Many older adults ignore its importance, staying up late, scrolling on their phones, or watching television until exhaustion sets in. Without deep, restorative rest, the brain cannot clear toxins or strengthen neural connections, and forgetfulness worsens with each passing night. Diet is another silent saboteur. Many believe that eating less or skipping meals helps maintain weight with age. But this deprives the brain of glucose, its primary source of energy. Processed foods, refined sugars, and inflammatory oils dominate modern diets, slowly suffocating neurons while blocking nutrient absorption. The brain begins to slow not because of age, but because it is starved of the fuel it needs to function. At the same time, dehydration is often overlooked. People drink coffee and tea all day, but forget the simple power of water. Even mild dehydration shrinks brain tissue and reduces focus. Yet it goes unnoticed as a cause of fatigue and confusion. Mental passivity also plays a role. Many retire from mentally demanding activities and stop challenging their brains. They no longer learn new skills, read deeply, or engage in problem solving. Without stimulation, neural pathways weaken, just like unused muscles. The brain craves novelty, and when it is denied that, its capacity fades. Finally, one of the greatest mistakes lies in ignoring emotional health. Chronic stress, worry, and isolation release hormones that damage the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning. People assume mental decline is purely biological, forgetting how emotions can shape the mind's chemistry. These mistakes, made over years, accumulate quietly until they manifest as forgetfulness, confusion, and fatigue. They are not irreversible, but few recognize them for what they are. Instead, they accept decline as normal, when in truth, the real cause is the slow erosion of habits that once kept the brain alive and sharp. The first secret element behind memory restoration is omega-3 fatty acids, the essential oils that act as building blocks of the brain's very structure. These fats form the membranes of neurons, allowing them to communicate smoothly, transfer signals efficiently, and remain flexible enough to adapt and grow new connections. Over time, as people consume processed foods rich in trans fats and refined oils, these membranes become rigid and inflamed, making thought slower and memory weaker. Omega-3 South reverse this process. Found abundantly in wild salmon, mackerel, sardines, flax seeds, and walnuts, they nourish the brain at a cellular level, restoring what years of poor nutrition have eroded. When the body absorbs enough omega-3 South, the brain's chemistry begins to balance. Inflammation decreases, circulation improves, and oxygen reaches even the smallest capillaries that feed memory-related regions, like the hippocampus. This renewed flow of nutrients awakens dormant neurons, strengthening cognitive function and enhancing focus. Older individuals often describe feeling as though a fog has lifted, a sense of clarity, returning after years of dullness. Studies have shown that consistent omega-3 intake supports not only short-term recall, but also the brain's ability to protect itself from age-related degeneration. Yet the power of omega-3 South goes beyond biology. They influence mood and emotional stability. easing the chronic stress that silently destroys brain cells. The same compounds that support neurons also regulate serotonin and dopamine, creating a more balanced mental state where learning and concentration become effortless again. In a world flooded with synthetic supplements and unproven brain enhancers, omega-3 South remain one of the few elements backed by both ancient wisdom and modern science. For many, introducing this nutrient into their diet feels deceptively simple. Yet the effects can be profound. Within weeks, the brain starts to function more smoothly, memory retrieval quickens, and the feeling of mental fatigue fades. It is as if the mind, long deprived of what it needed, finally begins to breathe again. The transformation does not come from magic or mystery, but from restoring what nature always intended the human brain to receive: pure, living nourishment from the sea and soil, feeding the roots of consciousness itself. The second secret element essential for restoring memory and sharpening the mind is a group of powerful antioxidants found in blueberries. These small, dark fruits hold compounds known as anthocyanins that protect brain cells from oxidative stress and inflammation, two of the main forces behind memory decline and mental fatigue. As the years pass, free radicals accumulate inside the body, damaging delicate neurons and interrupting the flow of information between them. The antioxidants in blueberries act like tiny shields, neutralizing these unstable molecules and preserving the integrity of the brain's communication system. Regular consumption of these fruits can reverse years of silent damage, helping the brain to function as it once did in youth. Beyond their protective power, blueberries stimulate the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein responsible for the growth and repair of neurons. This process enhances neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt, form new connections, and recover lost memories. Older adults who add a daily serving of blueberries to their meals often experience a gradual but noticeable improvement in focus, reaction time, and word recall. It is not a sudden miracle, but a steady awakening of neural pathways that had been dormant or weakened over time. The unique combination of vitamins, natural sugars, and fiber in blueberries also supports balanced blood sugar levels, preventing the energy crashes that disrupt concentration. This steady energy flow allows the brain to operate at a consistent rhythm, maintaining alertness without fatigue. When paired with a diet free of processed carbohydrates and refined sugars, the benefits become even more pronounced, creating an internal environment where memory can thrive. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this element lies in its simplicity. The body does not require exotic supplements or artificial boosters to heal the mind. Something as ordinary as a handful of blueberries each day can stimulate the regeneration of neurons, fortify the brain's defenses, and bring back the sharpness that once seemed lost forever. In a world that constantly seeks complex solutions, the secret hides in the simplest gift from nature, a fruit that quietly rebuilds the foundation of memory one cell at a time. When the three secret foods come together, their effects on the brain create a powerful synergy that reignites memory, focus, and mental clarity. The first element nourishes the brain with essential fatty acids, rebuilding the lipid layers that protect neurons and enhance signal transmission. The second element, rich in antioxidants, shields these newly strengthened cells from oxidative damage and inflammation, preserving their vitality. The third element introduces vital micronutrients that fuel cellular energy production, ensuring the mind operates with sustained strength throughout the day. Together, they work like a team of quiet healers, repairing decades of decline and bringing the brain back to a more youthful state of performance. After several weeks of consistent use, the results begin to show subtly, but unmistakably. Moments of forgetfulness become less frequent, and clarity returns during conversations or tasks that once felt mentally exhausting. Morning fog lifts more quickly, replaced by an alertness that feels natural rather than forced. The ability to recall names, places, and details strengthens, as if layers of mental dust are being swept away. The body follows the mind's awakening, feeling lighter, more energized, and more confident. This is not a temporary burst of focus, but a steady rebuilding of mental resilience from within. Scientific explanations confirm what the body experiences. Neurons begin to fire more efficiently. Sepses strengthen, and blood flow to the brain improves. The nutrients enhance communication between brain regions responsible for memory formation and retrieval, while the antioxidants extend the life of these cells by minimizing degeneration. The brain, once sluggish and clouded, becomes active and dynamic again, capable of learning, creating, and adapting as it did decades earlier. This transformation does not depend on synthetic pills or costly therapies. It emerges naturally from consistent nourishment, patience, and respect for the body's biological wisdom. The combination of these three foods does not just enhance memory. It restores the essence of mental youth, returning confidence and independence to those who feared their sharpness was gone forever. It is the quiet proof that the body retains its power to heal and renew, no matter how many years have passed, as long as it is given the right tools and the care it deserves. Now that the path to restoring memory and mental sharpness has been revealed, the next step is to take action. Knowledge alone cannot transform the brain unless it is turned into a daily habit. Every morning, the choice to nourish the body and mind becomes a silent commitment to longevity and clarity. It is not a complicated ritual, but a mindful one, beginning with small, consistent actions that accumulate over time into lasting renewal. Each day that passes without implementing these changes allows more potential to fade away, while each day of action builds a stronger foundation for the future self. The process begins with intention. The three foods that support the brain should become a regular part of life, not an occasional effort. Creating a routine around them, preparing meals with awareness, and treating every bite as an investment in mental health turns the act of eating into a practice of restoration. Alongside this, hydration, movement, and rest play their quiet roles, helping the nutrients reach every corner of the brain and body. The goal is not to chase instant results, but to honor the steady rhythm of transformation that nature has designed. Those who take the first step notice subtle changes. Within weeks, the mind feels lighter, concentration lasts longer, and a quiet confidence replaces frustration. The brain begins to trust the consistency of nourishment, responding with sharper memory and a renewed sense of purpose. What once seemed like inevitable decline transforms into a journey of renewal. This is the reward of discipline, of choosing care over neglect, and action over waiting. In the end, the call is simple but profound. It asks for courage, the courage to believe that it is never too late to change, to rebuild, and to reclaim what seemed lost. Every moment of awareness, every choice to nourish the brain, is a statement of defiance against aging and forgetfulness. The opportunity is here and now, waiting to be seized by those willing to take responsibility for their vitality. With each conscious act of self-care, the mind becomes sharper, the body stronger, and life itself richer and clearer than it has been in years.